Welcome to Media Anarchy. I'm Captain Obvious. The reason why I jumped back in here so quick after those last two reports is because I had several people. I'm not sure if they're subscribers or not. I didn't see them in the list, so obviously their settings are set to private for whatever reason. It doesn't mean that they're hiding anything. It just means, when we used to come to YouTube in the early days, we just set up a profile so we can get in there and get videos for our MySpace. Remember that? We didn't know we had to adjust things. So I don't know if they're subscribers or not. I don't know if they're newbies. I don't know if they're just dumbed down and brainwashed and have no clue, no matter what you show them. So they asked me to come in here and show, and I know some of you, this is going to be repetitive for some of you who've seen my videos from reports from 2 or 3 years ago where I showed how to investigate and discern channels and different people's information to find out, is this information legit or am I being lied to? So I have to do it again, but I'm not going to get into depth. Today I'm going to do this. I'll pull this up so you can see it. All news, SHILL evidence, and the Vatican neo-Nazi connection with the New World Order. Now, why am I throwing all this together in today's video? Because it's all connected. It's all tied in. And it's all part of this plan that's been planned for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And everything is interconnected with it. And you need to know it, because there's going to be a time where you're going to zig when you should have zagged, so to speak. Or you're going to go down when you should have went up. You need to know this stuff, or you wouldn't be here in the first place. So they asked me just to real quick touch on how I came to the conclusions that I come to. I believe what they're asking me is how do you tell? I'm new to this. I took the red pill and woke up, but I'm not wide awake. So how do you discern? I think that's the question they're asking, and we've been there before with this. So I'm just going to come in here real quick, and I'm going to show you. Now the hardest part is the why. Why would they do this? Everybody has a big problem with why would they do this. I have mentioned over the years that I believe the reason why they do this is because they're wicked and they're evil and they hate people. But I don't believe that anymore. That was more of that conspiracy theorist mind position. I'm more wide awake today than what I was 5 years ago. So I have to look at things logically and use common sense. Why would anybody want to be a part of this thing that's going to change the world and control the people? They either believe in it, really believe in it hardcore, or they have been mind melded. And I don't mean the Vulcan mind meld. I mean mind melded as in, over the years, you train somebody and you brainwash somebody and you feed them chemicals. It could be drugs, MK Ultra, whatever, I don't care. And you just the same thing over and over and over and over. And eventually these people, they start to perceive things a certain way and they start to go, you know what? We need to do this. I can see where I could be pulled towards this whole New World Order thing, right? Very easily, because a lot of it looks really good on the surface, and if they were really using it for good things, because we are overpopulated or whatever the case may be, I could see where that would drag me into that. So you get these people that are working for the government, been in there 30, 40 years, man, and they're the same thing over and over and over. And you know who the good ones are. You know who the good ones are. They have already left the White House. As of this year, there have been more people stepping down and resigning on both sides of the aisle and around the presidency. There have been more people that stepped down and resigned this year than in any other presidency in the history of the United States. A lot of things are coming out, and a lot of things are taking place. So, as of the beginning of this year, when I first started this research investigation into alt news, RT was one of the big ones. And I really liked the work they were doing. I felt they were being responsible. I felt they were being respectful towards the people. and I know things change. Then somewhere along the middle of the year, everybody's dress code changed at the same time. The women became a little more attractive. The men were a little bit more professionally presentable. And then they changed all their hairstyles. I started seeing this slow switch. And it was like, a lot of people weren't noticing it, but some of us were. There were others that were noticing each other. Well, wait a minute, something's not right here. Something's changing. Well, per our investigation, it only happened at the U.S.-based office. This was only happening in the United States. It wasn't happening at all the other places. Okay? You don't see what we see here at the U.S. office as we see at all the other networks around the world. What we see here is totally different. Bring in, it's like a CIA operation, false flag PSYOP is what I call it. You bring in this foreign agent. Park them somewhere near the state capital or the country's capital so we can keep an eye on them. Make them register as a foreign agent. Select specific individuals from different mainstream medias. Give them a false background perpetuating something bad. And then move them all over to this alt news and raise the truth level from 20% to 60%. That's what I saw happen. And now I see this happening regularly to confirm it. Read this clickbait title. Iran doesn't need nuclear weapons. Ex-Pentagon official. Basically, this is saying this ex-Pentagon official says Iran doesn't need nuclear weapons. Okay, let me ask you this. If Iran doesn't need nuclear weapons to protect itself because obviously its friends that are standing with them at the street corner waiting to cross the road to get over to the skate rink can't protect them, what are they supposed to do? I don't think if you can't tell somebody that they can't and you can. That's being a bully. That's where you hear all these people running around the United States going, America is a bully. The United States are bullies. They're telling these people that they can't do this and they can't do that, but we can all frickin' day long. You can't have nukes, we can. You can't do that. That'll never work. It'll be World War III and it'll be massive, nasty. Now, I want to show you down here, click more. Former Pentagon official joins this lady to weigh in on the discovery of a vast new oil field in Iran. This is not a discovery, it's been around for years. So all of a sudden off the bat, we're going to start out with perceptive lie. Well, I can't really call it a lie. It's more of a twist of perception. The second largest in the country and what it means for Iran's fraught relationship with the U.S. So far, so good. He argues that Iran is integrating more and more into the alternative New World Order. Right there, alternative world order. There's those magic words. So don't tell me this shit that isn't real. It isn't happening. It was something George Bush said live on TV, and it's never been spoke of since then. Bullshit. That's not dependent on the U.S. dollar and Western financial system. Not dependent on the U.S. dollar. And that's why we see so much of this crypto going on in the Middle East and in Western Europe. So a lot of this changing, getting ready for that one world currency. See, that's why the New World Order, United States New World Order wants one world currency, so other countries can't do this. That's the whole plan. You see, I said at the beginning of 2016, your votes count, but they don't mean anything. You just need to know where you lean. They need to know this for when the time comes, they can use that information against you. That has been proven. The Electoral College has elected every president puppet since its induction. That is a fact. Because the average American person does not have the mentality to make important decisions for its own country. That's an illusion. The government actually says that. The government actually says that on their own website. That's why the Electoral College is there. And people are too dumbed down, brainwashed, and stupid to realize that a government by the people for the people does not involve electoral colleges. You're all fooled. So every president that's been selected by the EC are puppets. These global elites who have infiltrated government on both sides of the aisle, Democratic, Republican, keep that illusion of division going so everybody can be against each other and no one can rise as a nation against tyranny. Okay? That's the country you live in. Okay, so now we need to push these agendas. So what we do is we find the dumbest SOB and we select that person to be our fall guy. That president will be our fall guy. We'll get them to push all our agendas, sign all this executive orders and everything, okay? And then we'll get rid of them when we're done, when they're all used up, when they're washed up. Okay? Get rid of them. That's what they did to Clinton. That's what they did to Reagan. That's what they did to Kennedy. That's what they did to Nixon. That's what they did to him. They made him a puppet, used him for what they could get out of him, and then got rid of him. That's what's happening to Donald Trump. Am I saying he's not a part of it? No. Because these presidents, they know exactly what they're getting into when they go in there. Not all of them agree with it. Some try to get out of it. Here's the difference, though. Out of all the presidents we have, Trump is the richest, Trump is the most powerful, and he's also one of the most arrogant. I think what happened is the elite's little puppet game backfired with Trump. And he tried to fight back, and now he because he is filthy rich, and he does have money, and he does have connections, and he does have some power, and he's not somebody you can just go and push around. He's a bully himself, and I think the elites didn't expect him to push back so much. So now you have all this mess going on. Okay, now the second part. So as far as RT, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Unsubscribed. Gone. Got to remove you from the honorable mentions list. I'm sorry. You can no longer be trusted. You are like mainstream media. You are a false flag psyop. Got to go. Then TYT. Haven't quite put my finger on it yet. But I don't see with these guys as the tiny details that I've seen with others. Okay? But the man says this is why, does a whole show. This is why I support and this is why I endorse Bernie Sanders. Then this lovely lady does a whole show. This is why I endorse Bernie Sanders. Then Bernie Sanders tweets out, thank you to TYT and this gentleman and this lady, and thank you for your endorsement. Do you know what that is? You don't realize what that is, do you? Trump does that shit all the time. There's a name for it. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it is a fancy reverse psychology way of advertising. I see these creepy crawler e-beggars doing it all the time when they sell t-shirts and bumper stickers with their logo on it. And they get paid for you to advertise for them. Just like when you go buy a Harley shirt or, there's no advertisements on here. I paid for tactical shirt. And there's no advertisements on here, so I'm not paying someone to advertise for them. See what I'm saying? So another weak link's got to go. Now, I want to touch on this because their latest here says Bolivia has been hit by a fresh round of violent protests. Well, the whole world's in protest right now. This time from the supporters of former President Evo Morales, who resigned after days of rallies demanding in his blah, 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 blah. Okay. They're saying that this lady is a neo-Nazi in Bolivia. Neo-Nazi, U.S.-backed politician right here. Neo-Nazi, U.S.-backed politician among forces behind Bolivia coup. Okay, how the hell do they know someone's secretly a neo-Nazi if they're not involved? If they don't know. If they don't know that person. That would be like it leaking out that Trump is the grand wizard, the imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay? We've never heard that. Why? Because that kind of shit don't leak out. So they have no clue. They're just throwing this up there as either clickbait or bullshit. But this lady is U.S. backed because that's what the U.S. does. They put their own people into positions of power so they can control the world when the New World Order is enacted. And this coup is about Bolivia having the second largest supply of lithium. Isn't it lithium? Yeah, in the world. So their job is to go around putting their own people in, like those CIA psyops that was going on down in South America at the beginning of 2019. Trying to get their own people in there so they can control the natural resources. Why? Because that's a part of Agenda 2030. That's a part of the New World Order. That's a part of the real rewilding of America project and rewilding of the world and keeping the population under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature like it states on the Georgia Guidestones outside Atlanta, Georgia, United States. It's all part of that plan. In order to bring about this control, you have to control things, don't you? You have to control the natural resources in order to control the natural resources. That's what it is. That's why it exists. That is what the New World Order is. It's not fake. It's not real. It's not conspiracy theory. It is actually happening. Okay, now, why is this neo-Nazi shit always keep popping up in government and all this politics and religion and all this nonsense? And you see people with Nazi flags and people pushing back and go, "Oh, you're a Nazi. You got a swastika because you're a Nazi." Do you know that the symbol of the swastika had nothing to do with Hitler and the Nazis? Nope, sure didn't. That's the truth. That's the fact, and I'm about to prove it to you. Just like the rebel flag didn't have nothing to do with slavery in America. People are just that dumbed down, brainwashed, predictively programmed, deceived, and lied to about their history. So they have no fudging clue what the truth is. But they'll run around yapping their flapper about, oh, well, that flag this, and that flag that, and that symbol this, and that symbol that. Did you know the pagan symbol, the inverted and the upright pentagram, which I know from being in the occult, had nothing to do with Lucifer and the occult in the first place? No, it did not. It was pagan and Catholic. Period. Just like the swastika. And I'm about to show you that too. Powerful 12 symbol of the swastika and its 12-year history. I'm just going to go down through here and breeze through, and I'm just going to read you the important stuff. The swastika is a symbol that was used in the 20th century by one of the most hated men ever to have lived. A symbol that now represents slaughter of millions of Jews. But why did Adolf Hitler pick the swastika? Well, everybody thinks the swastika represents Hitler and Nazism and racist. No, it does not. For the Hindus and the Buddhists in India and other Asian countries, the swastika was a very important symbol for many thousands of years. And to this day, the symbol can still be seen in abundance on temples, buses, taxis, covers of books, and yes, even the Vatican. It was also used in ancient Greece and Rome and can be found in the remains of an ancient city of Troy, which existed 4,000 years ago. The ancient Druids and Celts, part of my history, I've been researching my family tree again and found some of that in there. The Celtic Druids also used the symbol, reflected in many artifacts that have been discovered. It was used by Nordic tribes and even early Christians and pagans used the swastika as one of their symbols, including the Teutonic Knights, a German medieval military order which became a purely religious Catholic order. German medieval military order was Catholic. And if you watched my last report, I showed how the Catholics, the Catholic Church, the Vatican, manipulated and controlled and guided Hitler to do the things he did. Why did Hitler use it? Here's a few different styles. This looks very close to ascension. The word swastika is a Sanskrit word meaning it is, well-being, good existence, and good luck. That's this point, that point, that point, that point. Very similar to the pentagram. Okay? Yuan in China, Manji in Japan, Filvat in England, Hecken Cruz in German, and Tetraskelion or Tetragrammaton in Greece. Okay? This is the positive swastika. Straight lines, positive. So why was Hitler using the positive? Positive. Because the Vatican had Hitler thinking he was doing something good by removing the Zionist Jews, the ones that have all the money and control everything in the world. The Vatican and the Pope Pius XII, had Hitler believing that he was doing good by removing the Zionist Jews from his country in Germany. The double meaning of the symbols is common ancient traditions, like, for example, the symbol of the pentagram, five-pointed star, which is viewed as negative when pointing downwards and positive when pointing upwards. That's all it is. That's all it is. 12,000-year-old symbolism, Europe, Southern Europe, Croatia, Bosnia, dates back to 8,000 years. The Buddhas use it today. Nobody calls them Nazis. Look at that. It's on the Buddha. Ethiopia, Christian catacombs in Rome found swastikas on the walls. See? Yeah. It's not the symbol that's bad, it's the usage of it. It's even on the Catholic cross. Okay? And finally, how and why did so many diverse countries and cultures across many eras use the same symbol and apparently with the same meaning? It is ironic and unfortunate that a symbol of life and eternity that was considered sacred for thousands of years has become a symbol of hatred. So, when we talk about neo-Nazis, we can't put the symbol of the swastika with that. Because if we're going to do that, then we have to look at the neo-sexual culture in the world. You know, the LGBTQRXTUVWXYZ community. We need to give them the pentagram. Because it is believed in Wicca, that in witchcraft, that everyone follows their own path. Their own path through life. Okay? And how you live that path, that is your religion. Okay? All roads lead to the same place. Not to heaven, not to hell, but to the same place. There is one door that gets you out of this world. Period. And every path in this world goes to that one door. Where you go after that, that's anybody's guess. But there's only one way into this world, and there's only one way out of this world. And everybody goes through the same door. So it doesn't matter what path you pick. It doesn't matter how you live that path, which is your personal religion. The only thing that matters is how you represent yourself. How you represent yourself. That's all that matters. So if you're going to give neo-Nazis a swastika, you might as well give the LGBT community the pentagram. And you might as well give the Vatican and the Catholic Church inverted crosses, because they are very evil and wicked. And you might as well take the yin yang and flip it around and give it to the Buddhists in Japan, because the Buddhists in Japan are worshiping a robot now. Oh, that's bullshit. Well, if you're new to the channel, you haven't seen the live footage of them taking a robot and filling it full of information that they want people to listen to and believe, and brainwash them, and then they have to go into these Buddhist temples in Japan, and instead of the Buddha being in the center of this flying saucer-shaped disc building, they have a robot in there, and this robot tells them what to believe and how to believe it, and how to worship. So there you have it. This is how you discern. God bless. Carry on.